what kind of advice can you offer to somebody that's looking to get into flipping?
I mean, there's so many things, but I think first and foremost, we start our boot camp with the idea of begin with the end in mind. Understand why you're doing this. Like, get really clear on your purpose. What are you doing this for?
Right.
And if your purpose is just to make a lot of money, that's okay. But like, why is money important to you?
What's
I mean,
the
and
why for the
money
money?
is important to you.
And it's even defining that amount.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then get really clear on what is the amount that you want to make. Somebody that was in the boot camp told me, he said, "Well, I'm really excited about this because the only advice I've ever gotten from anybody about flipping houses is just do it. Like, I go to these events and they throw out a bunch of stuff and they say, no, just go do it.
Just go out there and do it."
And I'm like, do what? Like, we're not talking about going for a run around the block here. We're talking about a significant financial investment, time, energy. There is some specific knowledge, real estate knowledge that you have to have. So begin that way, and then if you're inclined, do a lot of study. Like, spend time, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. There are a lot of people sharing a lot of information. And I'm of the belief that once you know what it looks like and you want, go find a mentor. You can pay for it or not. It doesn't matter. I mean, we have a paid for mentorship, but I've coached and mentored a lot of people and never charged them anything. You will find mentors along the way. As the old saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so if you're ready to learn, find a mentor, somebody that is living and operating the thing that you want to have. Like I say, we say this all the time. If you want to achieve a certain physical result with your body, go find somebody who has the result you want. If you want to achieve something in your relationship, go get advice from somebody who has a great relationship. You want to run a flipping business, go get advice from somebody who actually flips houses. So go find a good coach, go find a good mentor. If you have the ability to pay for it, I believe pay for it, because you will accelerate the time. You'll cut the time. But if you don't, that's okay. Like, there are a lot. I love coaching people, even if I'm not charging them. Mm-hmm. Like, people call us up all the time. Hey, what would you say would be the first thing to do? We believe there's this notion in flipping houses that the easiest way is to go out and wholesale a deal. And wholesale, just really quickly, if you don't know, wholesaling is where you go and you get a contract on a distressed property, undervalued property, and then you take that contract and you sell it to somebody, what we call a cash buyer, somebody like us, that buys it and flips it and makes money on it. And you can make that spread.
Right.
I think the right way to do it is really learn how to flip houses. And then you'll understand what it takes to go and wholesale. We wholesale contracts. We do the same thing, like where we go and we get a deal, and for whatever reason, we don't want to do the deal. We don't have time. We don't have crews. Maybe we don't have money.
It doesn't fit our buy box.
Doesn't fit our buy box, and so we'll move it to somebody else, and we'll make a little bit of money, kind of like maybe a commission or maybe a small finder's fee.
If you can't understand you have to understand what it takes to actually flip a property, because it's a lot of work. You're putting in typically, 60, at least 3 to 6 months, right, into remodeling this property. Sometimes you can do it quicker, but it's a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of focus. And so you need to be, as the flipper, you need to have some meat on that bone. And what we're seeing a lot of today is these wholesalers that are leaving. A lot of times these wholesalers are getting paid more than what the flippers are getting paid. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
so,
ridiculous.
So go and go learn, but then take action on that knowledge, on that education. And that's what real knowledge is. Knowledge is the applied education that you've gained.
And I will say too, just in our experience, just going off of what Brad said about getting a mentor, for the longest time we didn't, and there wasn't a whole lot of mentors out there when we started. So we were kind of just, trudging through trying to figure it out. And it took us a lot longer. And once we went out and got these other mentors and started figuring out what we didn't know, because we didn't know what we didn't know.
Yep.
Once we opened ourselves up to that and we're like, okay, what do we don't know? What are we not seeing? Where are our blind spots? Things really took off for us. And so I would say the importance of having that mentor, you shortcut. It's it's worth so much, because it really takes you from point A to point B in such a condensed amount of time.
Well, just having the resource of reaching out and being able to, hey, I've got a question. Okay, I could do the homework. Sure, that's going to take me all afternoon to figure that out and read it, or I can, hey, what's the answer to X?
Especially, Topher, when you're dealing with the uncertainty, when you're dealing with a real life situation. Hey, I've got a deal I can move on.
Right.
Like, it's cool in theory, like, to think about it, but once you've got a deal and you've got, like, we signed 2 contracts to buy this week. We do this all the time. We're making decisions to buy houses all the time.
Early on, there were so many times where we weren't feeling certain about something, and we would pass up on a deal just because we weren't sure about it, whether it was a construction issue, we stay away from foundation issues still to this day, but they're like sewer mains. Like, sewer mains would be a thing that it would scare us, and we're like, well, we don't know how to deal with that. We're going to walk away. There was a time we were afraid of meth, and now almost every house you do, you have to remediate meth. But you walk away from these deals just because you don't understand, you don't know how to deal with it. And then we would know what the house was selling for, watch somebody else buy it and make $60,000. Yeah. And we missed out on that because we didn't have the information or the certainty to move on it.
Just the ignorance, not knowing what the steps are to get through that.
Yeah. And so get yourself a good mentor. Start off with, like, I'm a big believer in learning. Like, get yourself educated, and you don't have to go to a school. You don't have to go to a course. You can do that through so many sources now. Surround yourself with great people. That's one of the best parts about real estate, in my opinion, is you've got a lot of people that really focus on personal growth, on personal development. The people that I surround myself with and that we surround ourselves with, they view this entrepreneurial journey as a very spiritual journey, right? Because it is about becoming your best self. The better I become, the better my business becomes. The higher I become, as far as moving into my higher version of myself, my business seems to follow right along.
Raise the frequencies.
Raise your frequency, because truth vibrates at a certain level. Right. And so if you can get into that truth, whatever it is, I don't care if you're talking about flipping houses, working on bikes, taking a road trip, whatever it is, like, if you can get in that truth, that vibration is going to carry you. You're going to make decisions from that place. You're going to make the higher decisions where you're operating out of this true sense of love, of passion, of purpose. And things are just it's gonna be like a miracle for you. I don't know how it worked out, but it did.
And the other thing that I would add to that is, like, surrounding yourself with people who are willing to call out your blind spots and call out when you're not operating from that higher place, because that's the key to growth. We all have blind spots.
We need accountability partners.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
And so when you're dealing in that, fear, scarcity, whatever it is, having someone be able to, like, show you that and mirror that for you, it's an opportunity for you to step up and just continue to grow and continue to get better.
Rob, why would somebody want to watch this podcast?
Why wouldn't you? We have a good time. You're going to learn something. And by the way, it's awesome. You should click it. You should watch it. Thanks for tuning in.
Subscribe right now.